It's been almost 100 years since Bruce's Beach, a beachfront property in Southern California, was taken through eminent domain. The owners were black. The land a safe haven for people of color to escape violence and harassment by whites. In October, California Governor Gavin Newsom signed a bill to return that land to descendants of the Bruce family. When it came to their fight, family members had help. I spoke with two women who are with an organization that works to help black families secure stolen land and or get restitution. Where's My Land helped the Bruce family and is working with an Ohio family. More from those who are leading this effort in a moment. But first, an NBC News exclusive interview. Harry Smith spoke with a Bruce family descendant about his family's history and what it means to have the land returned.
The allure of the sandy beaches of Southern California is undeniable, perhaps especially so for African Americans living in the very segregated Los Angeles of the 1920s. So where are we now?
Right now we're in front of the lifeguard station, which is on top of the property that my family used to own.
This is it, right here.
This is it.
Here was lodging, a cafe, and a dance hall, a black paradise developed by Anthony Bruce's great-great-grandparents, Willa and Charles Bruce.
They were doing quite well for themselves, and unfortunately, the community here, they saw it as a threat.
It was a time in America when people were proud of their prejudices. Manhattan Beach claimed it needed the land for a park, paid the Bruces and others a pittance, and while there's a park there now, the land sat vacant for more than 30 years.
When you're robbed of your dignity, when you're robbed of your integrity, when you're robbed of your decent basic rights as a human being and mistreated like that, I mean, it sticks with you for a long time.
Thursday, though, on the very land the Bruce family was run off of, they were welcomed back. Through a unanimous act of the California legislature, the land is being returned to them, a bold act of reparation.
I'm absolutely convinced this will be catalytic. We're changing the dynamic of the debate in terms of righting wrongs.
For now, the Bruce family wants to rent the lifeguard station back to the county, the property likely worth many millions of dollars, but don't expect to see them back.
And my thing is, like, I believe if Anthony Bruce or anybody else in the Bruce family comes back here, we're going to see the same exact thing. I don't think it's changed, Harry. I think it's still here, and that's why we're not rushing to set up shop again.
Harry Smith, NBC News, Los Angeles.
Where Is My Land worked with the Bruce family. Those behind the effort tell me some people who are against the property being returned have taken legal action to stop this move.
What is Where Is My Land and why is it important?
Where Is My Land? It stemmed from Justice for Bruce's Beach, which is the grassroots organization that was responsible for helping the Bruces get their land back out here in Manhattan Beach, California. So what we decided to do is to expand upon our success in Manhattan Beach and create a national organization where we were able to help families all across the country asking for help. And so it is essentially an organization, is not a nonprofit, it is an S corporation, but we do have the ability to receive tax deductible donations through our fiscal sponsor. And it is an organization that uses research, technology, and advocacy to help Black families reclaim their land or get restitution for land that they can no longer get back.
We were just talking about it a second ago. I think people so often say, well, slavery was so long ago. They say, we're in a post-racial society. I don't know if y'all heard, we had a Black president. We re-elected him. And we're like, what are you talking about? Talk about the effects that families go through still to this day as a result of having their property taken from them.
I mean, when your property is taken from you, generational wealth is taken from you as well, right? Confidence, the ability to invest in your children, to pay for college, to build businesses, to buy more businesses so that you can expand the one that you have and so that your kids can expand their own businesses and do the things that they deem necessary, like within their lifetime. And it is just also this loss of power and control. And I think that is the ultimate reason why white people steal from Black people, is to maintain white supremacy, to maintain control, because as we all know that the money comes with the power, and power comes with the money. And so when those things are stolen from a group of people, then it is set up so that those people are always asking the superior people, which is white people, for opportunities, for funds, for just access to things that they were born with access to, so a lot of it, I think it's about power.
What was the reaction? What the energy, the mood of the family when they said we did it? After decades of not having their family's property to gain it back. What was the sentiment like?
I mean, it was a sign of relief. It was just like, wow, we did something that has never been done. We were a part of history being made. But then it was also, okay, but there's still more work to do within this process, right? The legislation passed, it was signed into law by the governor that gave the family the right to have the land transferred to them, but there still needs to be work done, right? So the family can't do what they want to do with that land because of zoning laws that state that the property, since it's used for the public, it's a lifeguard training facility, that property can only be used for public use. And until those zoning laws change within the city of Manhattan Beach, the family doesn't have the power to do what they want to do with that land. So what they have to do is lease it back to the county and just get rent from the county. They're limited to that right now. So and then I don't know if you're aware of this, but there was a lawsuit against the family and the county for making that transfer happen. So it's still an uphill battle.
It's always something.
Always something. It's so easy for them to take it, but so hard for us to get it back.
So Ashanti, because I want to make sure you're included in this. What's the effort? What's the response been? Because this was a huge story, and then you all teamed up. You have to be hearing from every corner of the state and in between.
Where's My Land is a response to Justice for Bruce's Beach. I was very inspired by what Kavan and her team were able to accomplish in Manhattan Beach. And, I knew that the Bruce family could not be the only descendants of a Black family who once owned land that had been unjustly stolen. And we know that, we just know that's not the case. So one really important piece of this is the revealing of history and the acknowledgement of history. So while, yes, it was a great victory that, that law paved the way for the land to be returned to the family, just as important is that plaque being on the park, getting that plaque to be an accurate reflection of history. And we see that people are very resistant to telling that, so there was so much more to do after I saw what Kavan did. And I just, like many people, was very energized and just really itching for a way to do something about just the hundreds of years of injustice that we have had to suffer, and it is affecting our lives materially today. Instead of feeling like, oh, it's just too much, it's too much to take on, something snapped, or I guess I saw Kavan and I was like, she heard something in her community and was moved to do something about it. And so, I believe that that's really all it takes sometimes, is for people to be moved to do something. I know, like Kavan said, it's very easily taken away and it's very hard to get back. So what we're doing is a monumental effort, and there's no clear roadmap, right? But it's the right thing to do. And I know that, as a parent of children, and just understanding how a child's life is made so much easier based on what your ancestors have been able to accomplish or build, it's just, I would be, I view it as a duty to other children to just show that, it's not right. Not only, if you see something that was wrong, you should do something about it. So, yeah.
And the last thing is, and this is for both of you, what do you say to people, and I was kind of asking about this a second ago, but to people who say, this stuff you're talking about is history. This is old stuff, it's in our past. What do you say to that?
I'd make two arguments. First is that the same thing, like history is repeating itself. So racism is still here. The theft of anything Black is still exists. And then also in terms of like this happened back then, why are we talking about it now? It's because the consequences live on, the impact lives on. And then those people who are saying, oh, that's the past, we didn't do anything, our ancestors did it, but they still benefit from it. And so just as they could acquire generational wealth, they acquire generational debt. And this is a debt they need to pay.
I mean, I wanted to add to that, but that's really the bottom line. I mean, I think that's such a really disingenuous argument. If you're a person and you've inherited anything, that's history. That the material that you're inheriting or the benefit that you're inheriting, if your ancestors, if your grandparents were able to start a business, and then, so when you graduate from high school or you're a teenager and you're starting out and you just say, oh, I'm going to go work for the family business, like that's history. People don't want to forget history when it's good and it makes them feel good. People only want to forget history when it makes them feel bad and it makes them feel guilty. So, it's history, and wealth, especially in this country, the way it was designed, the passing down of wealth or the failure to pass down wealth has impact today on people. People are living in economic circumstances that they should not be because of what happened to their ancestors. So that argument does not hold water for me.
And because of the past, right, and what happened with the ancestors, but also the present and what happens now as a result of the policies put in place that prevents Black people from pulling themselves up by their bootstrap like this country always tells us to do. Whenever we do it, the boots are taken from us, the laces are taken from us, the socks are taken from us, and we're forced to run barefoot somewhere else where white people don't want to live or don't want to stay or don't want to build their life. So it just baffles me. That whole argument is just sickening to me.